Andrew Garfield talks a little bit about the Spider-Man trilogy concluding in the MCU, and specifically how happy he was to watch what Tom got to accomplish, and this being his origin story. You know, it's very interesting when you look at the Spider-Man trilogy that the MCU has given us, that the real origin was in fact Spider-Man No Way Home, and this was all a build-up to it. Everything we've seen, the growth, the character, finally becoming the Peter Parker we know. And Andrew Garfield kind of echoed this. He recently sat down for an interview with Deadline, and he was talking about watching this film for the first time, getting to watch it with Tobey Maguire, because as we've covered, him and Tobey snuck into the theater together to be able to experience it. And he said it's one of those deep movies. It's a movie about growth, coming of age, the acceptance of loss, the acceptance of death, taking the responsibility, the gifts you have, what this does to you, how it tears you apart, and that Tom's journey in the MCU and this film leads to him becoming the classic Peter Parker. And he said that this felt fresh, that this was reimagined in a very well-made way, and that this was Tom's origin story, that the third film was the origin, and that they handled it better than just having his origin be the first film the first time we see him. And I'm not going to disagree with any of this. Like, I personally love that Tom Holland's Spider-Man got 3 films and multiple cameos in other films to establish a naive teenager excited with the powers to somebody that's playing loose and careless with what he has, and then finally learning, power and responsibility. And as he says, this was the origin story, and he felt great watching that and seeing the character grow, because if you watch the films back to back now and all his appearances, you see how the character becomes the Spider-Man everybody's been waiting for, and that this truly was the origin story that Tom Holland needed. And him saying that just kind of goes back to, what I think many people, including us here, have been saying the whole time. It can't just be a one and done. You can't just do the origin quickly and you can't just gloss over it. It has to be different. They have to take their time. They skipped the spider bite and stuff, but they took their time with other elements to give us the Spider-Man we've all been waiting for. And now we got that. Now what the next step is, well, we're going to have to wait quite a few years to see what Spider-Man does next, but I do like that Andrew Garfield kind of understands the evolution of the character, and you also have to understand that his film also had that whole idea of a new origin scrapped because they got cold feet, so he also knows what it's like to just whip past that and go straight to, oh, now you're good at everything. It's like, well, okay, let's just do this again.